I have been waiting a long time to open this watch. I have today a VulCain. I've had this watch for maybe about a year and a half, and I've wanted to service it for a long time. It was one of the watches that encouraged me to start on this watch repair journey. Oh, I've really beat up my mat here. See? Is that right? Don't tell Marshall. All right, well, without further ado, I'm just gonna get into it. This watch, I just tested it. It is running very bad, very fast, with a high beat error and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just gonna get into it and see what happens. So here we go. Here we go. Yep. Very, very pretty dial. Stunning, actually. This is a men's watch, even though it is pretty small. There we go. So let's go and take out these dial screws with the right screwdriver. A little screw right down in here. Boy, I hope I can do this thing justice. Just pop this out right here. There we go. Wow, this is a small movement. It's like a lady's movement. It's all right. I don't mind. Okay. Just gotta get this canyon pinion remover to work with me. Don't know if you saw that. Comes right off of there. Wow, small movement. Okay, men's watch. It's kind of like those Invictas. If anyone's ever opened up like an Invicta quartz watch, and then it's like this big watch, and it's got this tiny itty bitty little quartz movement in it. Except, you know, this is a VulCain, so it's good quality. You're not the right size. Tools, as I'm playing with my little screwdriver set here. The Sutcliffe Hansen toolkits are amazing, and they've got everything that you need to get started. So I would highly suggest going over there and checking their stuff out if you're thinking about getting into the hobby. Or if you've already started and you're frustrated by your bad tools. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're totally worth it. So to let down the power, we move this little click out of the way so we can let down the power. And hold it with your fingers so you're not letting everything down at once. You don't want to ruin everything. All that power stored up and just let down. You know, it's got some tension in there. Just look at how small this balance is. Like, it's almost as a fourth the size of the entire movement. It just kind of goes to show you exactly how small this little guy is. I have never worked on a man's movement before that was so small. It's actually kind of cool. This is the most high quality movement I have worked on so far. VulCain is a very good brand. Now, when I work on these old watches, I kind of think to myself, who owned this watch when it was new? And what happened to it in order for it to come to me? And I'm going to say that this watch maybe belonged to a man named Sal. Now, Sal was an outgoing young man. He was loud, funny, and had a way of making people feel comfortable around him. With a fast smile, kind eyes, and a can-do attitude, he could strike up a conversation with just about anyone. He knew a little something about everything, and he worked hard at whatever he set his mind to. When Sal had landed a job selling Kirby vacuums, he felt like his luck was finally turning around. Kirby salesmen had a reputation, good money,
sharp suits, and the promise that hard work would pay off. Sal threw himself into it, memorizing product features and perfecting his pitch. His first day out on the job, though, was a huge bust. Sal lived in a very small town, and it didn't take long for him to realize a harsh truth. All the ladies who wanted a Kirby vacuum already had one. Not only that, they knew the Kirby routine inside and out. Some of them had been pitched the same vacuum 3 or 4 times by different salesmen over the years. Doors opened politely, then closed just as fast. A few women smiled and waved him off before he could even get started. Others let him talk out of kindness, nodding along while clearly waiting for him to finish. By mid-afternoon, Sal's confidence had taken a beating. Still, he kept going.
Okay, we're gonna turn this back around because never seen this kind of setting lever before. Do you just weird. Never seen it before. I don't think it's broken, just never seen it. Okay, now the crown can release and all the funny little bits that make it work together.
Before trying any more houses, Sal sat for a second and thought about what his boss had told him. Look, son, you can remember the lines and know your product, but that won't sell to people. People want something they trust. They want to be sold an image, not just a vacuum, but a Kirby, a trusted vacuum that speaks volumes to their lady friends. Moreover, they want a story about the men who sold it to them. Look, you've got the personality. You can do good for yourself, but you'll have to find the formula that sells. Owning a Kirby meant you were well off, gave social credibility, and had good taste. They were good vacuums and spoke volumes on how tidy and clean you must keep your house. Sal would have to change his tactic. He decided to try a city a few hours away. Maybe he would have more luck outside of his small town. So he fixed his tie, filled his tank, and turned on the radio and was very optimistic as he started his journey, listening to Rock Around the Clock. When the day was all said and done, Sal beamed as he slid back into his car, ready for the long drive home. He had just landed 3 sales, and he couldn't have been more happy.
Okay, that spring looks pretty okay. Maybe. Might see if I have another one on hand.
As he drove home, he thought to himself that he would reward himself with a small token of his hard work. And he knew just the thing, too. He had seen a watch on a newspaper ad a little while back, a VulCain. He thought it would be a perfect watch. VulCain was a trusted brand, and wearing one said, "I appreciate quality, I value reliability, and I know a good watch when I see one."
Okay. Time to clean and inspect. I found one. I have a stock of old mainsprings, which I didn't know it at the time because I just bought like a big drawer, watchmaker drawer of it, and it said that they were all mainsprings, but half of them were just like mainspring cards, and then the other half, well, 2/3 of it, of the mainsprings that came in it, were really old mainsprings, the ones that we don't use anymore. But this one should work. Alright, as we know, this goes in which way again? Always like to replace mainsprings where I can. Good, good. There we have it. Always like when that goes well. And that went in nice too. Nice and flush. Okay, let's go back to our movement.
6 months later, Sal was doing really well for himself and landed a sale at least 5 times a week. He had also found a passion for watches after he got his VulCain, and he had added 4 new ones to his collection. But his VulCain was his favorite. Right next to his Gruen Very Thin, his Gruen was his little good luck charm, and he wore it one day as he walked into a watch repair store to find a new strap for his VulCain. The cute little lass behind the counter had blushed when he flirted with her, and the spring bar went flying into space, which made her blush even more. She expressed she was new at the job as she hurried to replace the spring bar with one that looked like it was a lot easier to put on. As he walked out of the store, his mind was racing with excuses he could make to come back and see her again. After a long day of sales pitching in a small neighborhood, Sal waved goodbye to Dottie, a sweet, quiet lady who beamed with excitement with the thought of her new vacuum. As he opened the door to his car, his watch strap ever so gently rubbed against the door handle, and the spring bar came loose, hit the curb, and his VulCain fell to Dottie's perfectly grassy lawn. Sal didn't notice, and he drove home, never to see the watch again. He was gutted when he noticed it was gone and had no idea what had happened to it. He searched his car inside and out 3 different times, retraced his steps around and outside his house, and eventually slumped at his empty dining table. But then he perked up a little with the thought of going back to the watch store to buy a new watch. He could see the little lady working there. Surely it wouldn't be obvious he was going to see her if he had just lost his beloved VulCain. He was still sad, but was happy to see the silver lining and decided he would go get a new watch first thing in the morning. Now, Dottie noticed the watch laying in the grass the next day while she was out walking her dog. She picked it up and decided she would give it to her husband. He loved Timexes. In fact, he really loved Timex watches, so maybe he'd like this, she thought. And boy, did he love his trusty Timex watches. Charles was a very opinionated man, and he was hell-bent on only getting things that were specifically American-made and proud of it, so Timexes were his thing. He liked the slogan, "Takes a lickin' and keeps on tickin'," and he stood by that. He really wore his watches, and they had the wear to show. Sometimes he felt badly about how beat up his watches got, but his friend Arthur always reminded him, a watch is meant to be worn. His best friend Arthur had this beautiful Hamilton that he admired sometimes, and thought to himself, maybe I should get a Hamilton. After all, they are American-made as well. But he never did. He stuck to his trusty Timexes, and every year he would get a new one and wear it till it wouldn't tick anymore. Charles thanked his wife with a peck on the cheek and a quick hug, put it in his drawer with his other Timex watches, and that's where the VulCain stayed for a long time, till it was sold on an online estate sale auction amidst a bundle of used, loved, and broken Timexes. And that's where I found it, won it on the auction, and that is exactly where this watch's story can start again. The oddest setting lever that works just fine. Ah, look at that. Lovely. Isn't that just lovely? In case anyone was wondering, I've actually had this watch for 2 years now. Maybe actually a bit over 2 years now. It was something I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of it, and I didn't know how to service watches when I first got this. So it's been hanging out with me in my watch box for some time now. And every time that I take it out and show it to my husband Devin, he talks about how cool it is and how beautiful it is. So I'm willing to bet he's going to commandeer this watch. Which is just fine because honestly, I don't think I could let it go. Alright, let's start oiling these jewels. See if that helps the amplitude a little bit and get it going a little better. Now, I try and use the littlest amount of oil as I can get in there because I know that too much makes the watch run way worse. And then this happened. Yep, let's rewind that. This. A lot of oil right on the palette fork. I didn't realize it and I kept going with my oiling. How I did not notice it, I do not know, but that is what happened. So here we go, oiling the Kappa jewels. But first, we've got to take them out very gently and clean them because they're very dirty. I did soak it in one dip, but a lot of the time that doesn't do it, and I've got to get some of my peg wood out and just scrub off all the old oil. And get a small little dab right in the center there. Put it back in. Spring goes over and holds it in place, nice and snug, so there's not a whole lot of movement in that pivot. Okay, so let's go and flip it around and do the bottom. And right away, I noticed that it doesn't look right. I haven't ever seen this chaton like this with no setting in it. And then that happened. It flew away right there, and I spent hours trying to find it. So I started my search, and these were the only donor movements I could find of an MSR K1. So then I found on Emmy Watch that it takes this kind of jewel. I ordered those from a different country, and they never arrived. So I looked, and I found that it now said a different jewel. So I went to eBay and I was actually able to find this very nice man that sells a bunch of different kinds of jewels. And he had the one that I was looking for that Emmy Watch had told me I needed. It arrived in this casing, as most jewels do. And that should have been my first clue that it was not going to fit, but I took it out and it looked like it fit just fine. So I put it back together, expecting not to fit, and hello, it did. And this is how it was running. Bad, 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 bad. We can't have that amplitude. It's too low. So I did more research and ordered another one. That one also didn't work. There it is. It's not even out of the package all the way. It's still completely sealed up. It is nothing more than a bent old setting. Oh. So then I looked again on a different day and it keeps showing different movements. And that's when I kind of just decided on giving up on Emmy Watch and found a seller that would sell me the whole thing. Let me tell you, when I finally got it in, I was so nervous that this thing too would go flying. I've never taken jewels out before in a casing like this that wasn't attached into the watch, so it was tricky. I put it down into some Rodico to try and stabilize it, and I just worked at it very slowly and very carefully for a while. Got that off there. So here we go, getting this out of there and getting the new one in and oils, plopped it in, secured it, and finally it's running better. But I realized the oil when I had played back my video and realized that there was still oil in there that I had to clean up. So here I am cleaning the palette fork, and I ended up cleaning that palette jewel which helps the amplitude significantly.
That took an insanely long time to service this watch because of me losing the jewel and everything that I went through after that. So, but it's finally running in a place where I am happy and proud of. All I have left to do is clean up the case and put the dial and everything back on. So I'm gonna hurry up and do that. Oh my gosh. We have all the jewels that I am saving just in case. You never know. I will say that from the time that I started this project till now, I feel like I have gotten better at watch repair. And there's things that I've learned. I think that my oiling game has gotten a little bit better. 3 months, basically. 4 months. And it is amazing what you can learn in that time. Expensive mistakes, I'll tell you what. One little jewel. This dial is so beautiful. That is just so pretty. Okay, I'll put the dial screws in. I don't know, these are tiny. There we go, all nice and tight. Now to fit the hands on. I do like using Rodico most of the time for this, but also it can smudge up the hands a little bit. Okay, we're going to put that off to the side and work on this case for a minute. It's not like it's the worst thing you've ever seen, but we can do something to help it. Okay, I'm going to pop out the crystal. I'm going to polish up the case a little bit and let's hope it goes smooth. Since there's no glue keeping this one in, so I guess just pressure fit. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to polish up this case just a little bit. You really don't want much here because you don't want to, it does have gold plating and you don't want to strip any of that. So just a little bit. This is just a regular gold and silver polishing cloth. My twin sister owns a jewelry store. So she provides these for me. It's like a little gold mirror. It's so nice. Shame that scratch right there. But it adds character. Looks like someone had some troubles getting this case back off. All right, those are cleaned up. Now for the crystal. And it's so exciting. My father-in-law traded me a Dremel for me swapping out some batteries on some of his quartz watches. So thank you so much, Lane. I love this thing and I am going to use it today to polish up my crystal. I also got these. No, maybe that one. This one. We'll try this one first. My trusty friend, Polywatch. Ooh, that makes a mess. Totally worth it though. I think. Save me some time. Looks like a brand new crystal. I wanted to try something. Someone tell me that you can polish up cases really well with this. My God, I think it does work. Dare I? but doesn't seem to be ruining it. Might have not taken out the very deep scratches, but I'll tell you what, it for sure made them less noticeable. Look at that. Not perfect, but it's pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get the crystal back in. And I don't think I'm gonna use any glue because it seems like it was meant to be just pressure fitted. So I'm gonna try with my fingers first. If that doesn't work, crystal press. It does not seem as though that this crystal is even supposed to be in here. Okay. How is this in there? Teeth on this thing are very uneven. The teeth do not hit in the same spot. So it's just bending it. I'm gonna have to order a new tool. Useless. Yeah, I'm gonna go order a new tool. And I'll be back another day. I got a new one. This one should work. It was $160. So it wasn't cheap, but I am confident that it'll work better. It is a very, very good brand. Okay, I'm really, really excited. I have been through the ringer with this watch, but they're all kind of my mistakes, so can't be upset about it. Whoop. See? It's adjustable here. So just like that. And then we start tightening. Okay. I think that it's in. I have squeezed it a lot and I just fit it right into the case. And I'm hoping, I think that it's completely flush in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and see what it does. All right, looks to be in there pretty nicely. It's not. Damn it. So, did scratch that up a little bit, but. All right. Took a while, but I got it. It looks pretty good. Here we go. Okay. In. Oh my goodness. That is so pretty. Oh, I did that. I restored that. What an amazing feeling. Okay, let's get the strap back on real quick. I'm so excited. Wow, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. After all this time to finally have this done, I'm feeling so happy. There's nothing quite like the feeling of restoring something like this. There's nothing quite like it. Okay, gonna roll some pictures for you. see you on the next one. Thank you for joining me today.
Wow, that's so pretty. Okay.
Just showed it to my husband and he wants to keep this watch. So Sal's watch goes to him. I'm excited that I have finally serviced him a watch. So